Hey everybody, welcome back to the Boston Micro Soldering channel. Today is New Gear Day, which I'm pretty excited about. Got some new toys, in. But before I get to the new toys I received this week, I just want to talk about a pretty common scenario that I face, or maybe many field technicians face, showing up at a customer's office, home, business. To have a customer that reports no image. Their computer shows nothing on screen, their Xbox, their PlayStation shows nothing on screen, and your job is to fix it. So, the technician's going to go through the same obvious steps each time. Number one, verify that the source is outputting a video signal. Two, fix any cabling issues or connector issues. Finally, you got to make sure that the monitor can display the image. If your television is dead, if you've got a bad HDMI input on your monitor, it's not going to work. Now, any service tech is likely to have a laptop on their person, something that can output an HDMI signal. So, if you want to test the customer's device versus their monitor, you can hook up your own laptop to the same cables, to the same monitor, to see if the latter part of the system is working. Similarly, a technician's very easily going to have a bag full of common analog and digital video cables they can bring with them anywhere. It's not really going to weigh you down to have some spare VGA cables and HDMI cables with you. The last step is a bit harder. You can't really show up at a customer site carrying a full-size computer monitor with you, let alone a television to test against the customer's monitor. Now, imagine you're buying used devices, as I do pretty often. Someone who's trying to offload an old Xbox, PlayStation, desktop computer, they want to meet you, get their money, and end that relationship usually as quickly as possible. A lot of times you meet somebody to sell something, whether they're selling it to you on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, something like this. They've had that device sitting in a box for days or weeks before you got there. Usually the last thing that they're going to want to do is invite you into their home, hook this back up to their television, and demonstrate the full functionality of the device before selling it to you. Hooking it up to their TV is the last thing they want to do. I hope to never be in either of these situations again. Toward that end, I finally found a very portable monitor, which can fit in my bag and not weigh me down, but still has the input functionality I need, as well as a built-in speaker, so I can make sure that things are outputting audio over HDMI as well. So this arrived from eBay a couple days ago. Happy to finally crack it open and give it a try. This is the Eyoyo. It's called model EM08G. It is just about the smallest 720p LCD that I can find anywhere. Comes here from an eBay seller in Kentucky, actually, and we picked this up for just over $60, actually, including tax. This company, Eyoyo, if you search online, they really don't have their own store. Everything is sold on eBay and Amazon. You will actually see a couple of their products on Walmart and some of the big box stores online sales. But primarily they're coming from eBay, from Amazon, or you can just find them on AliExpress if you want to wait a month to get it for a little bit cheaper. Now, I picked this device for a couple reasons. First, compared to other monitors in this price range, it was just a couple dollars just a couple dollars more expensive for this IPS model versus one that was a TFT. And I really don't need something that's very high quality, but I don't like staring at TFTs when I can avoid it. Second, I'm primarily going to be using this for testing game consoles, so I needed something that had proper 720p resolution, not something that was going to be either VGA or 800 pixels wide. I want this to be detected by a game console as a 720p monitor, so that it can sync as quickly and painlessly as possible. Next, it's really about the portability, something that was small enough that I can toss it into my work bag inside of maybe its own protective case, rather than taking a computer monitor with me, which would fill up my entire bag. So I want to go over a couple things that caught my eye about this. So first, this guy has a metal housing, so it's pretty easy for me to measure the dimensions from the spec sheet and figure out that it's going to be the size I was looking for. And then next, the input options are fantastic. So let me see if I can find an image of the back. No image, but it at least lists it. So this guy will do HDMI in. It will do RCA in. Yeah, here we go, finally. VGA for testing an old desktop computer, or maybe even a very, very, very old laptop that has VGA out. And if somebody was looking to test like a security system, just plug an analog security camera into it. I believe that's what BNC is used for. I mean, anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is just a like a coaxial input for video. Yeah. And the back has a pretty simple mounting bracket. So let's open this up and take a look. I'm very excited to get my hands on it finally. Okay, simple packaging I like. Cardboard and a little bit of styrofoam. Have our little user manual, model EM08G. And this device is pretty teeny tiny. Put that up against a PlayStation controller. 5 plastic buttons and some LEDs on the front. It's definitely a nice painted or coated steel. One thing I'll say is that these Phillips screws are definitely not flush. This is one of those things that just kind of bugs me from a design perspective. They need to be countersunk a little bit more, but certainly nothing sharp. On the other side, let's see. Yeah, the screws could be a little bit better inside, but yeah, very simple design. Got on the bottom HDMI, VGA, and RCA. RCA really essential for testing older game consoles, and I suppose this is our BNC. And then the DC input is a 12 volt, I believe. Yeah, so 12 volt input at 2 amps. So this shouldn't be too hard to get a replacement power supply if I ever lose it. But my goal for this in the future is actually to go straight from a portable battery pack, using just a little DC 12 volt patch cable. And this little bracket on the side really doesn't stick out by much. Should be easily removable. I think that's going to be my first job, is taking that bracket off. As far as accessories in the box, comes with an HDMI cable. That looks like probably a 6-footer. Have our standard 12 volts power plug here. And this little brick, yep, 12 volt 2 amp max. Comes with a little remote control, which is neat. Video select, menu, mode select. Not sure how visible any of that is going to be. Power on off. I suppose if you were to mount this on a wall, like for your security camera system, it'd be pretty useful. And must come with batteries because it has the pull tab. Yeah, let's get a little coin cell in there. Comes with some drywall anchors, wood screws, and a bracket for the wall. Very, very low profile. And here's our stand for the back. Very metal monitor, very plastic stand. No, got a little bit of metal support at the bottom. So I'm definitely not going to be using this on a desk. This is going to be mobile for me. So this guy is going to stay in the box probably all the time. But yeah, this doesn't look bad at all. Looks like our mount slides in. Pretty easy slide in, twist to tighten. And this guy, you kind of have to twist to open it. This mount is so cheap, but it's okay because this thing is small and this thing is small and it weighs practically nothing. So after you lose your thumb screw, pop it back in. I kind of wish I didn't take the mount out of here. I was so much happier with the product before I looked at the accessories. Yeah, it's all right. It seems semi-adjustable. Yeah, it kind of ratchets. If you loosen it to a certain point, it kind of ratchets a little bit. But anyway, this is the first and last time I'm taking that guy out of the box. What I really want to do is actually test this with what I'm going to use it for most often, which is a PlayStation system. I'm also curious to see if the audio over HDMI is working, because one of the reviews I had read of this product told me that there was an issue with audio, specifically over HDMI. So it's not a deal breaker for me if the audio is not working, but of course it would be nice. Finally get that plugged in. Already got my fingerprints all over this. It is a glossy surface. Okay, power on. And yeah, it was a pretty bright panel when I had a white background. So we have our left button here, basically lets us just go between the AV, the BNC, the HDMI, the VGA. We have a menu button for contrast, brightness, saturation, sharpness. And right now we are about 50% brightness. Okay. So we crank this up to 100. With our blue background, it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, let's get an image on the screen. So far, so good. Okay, so we are going to grab one of our newly refurbished PS4 Slims. I need a DC input for this. And grab a spare HDMI. Got these little braided 12 inchers to complete my mobile kit. So my first move for this guy, once I test it, is definitely going to be getting rid of the wobble by taking off that back mount. Let's fix our uncooperative camera real quick. This in. And power it on. Okay, so it detected it pretty quick. We have our PlayStation logo. Ah, okay. So that quoted 10-watt speaker is definitely in there. I can tell you it's as much as you need if you were, you know, a gamer in your hotel room trying to play PlayStation on your little hotel desk, or somebody who just needed to make sure the audio was working. You know, the screen looks a little bit washed out with me having it up at full brightness here. I don't think I would do that regularly. I think we'd be much better off at that 50%. Oh, yeah. Yeah, down at like 70%, the color looks great. In fact, I cannot put it at 50%. I can choose 49% or 51% brightness, but at 49% brightness, it's great viewing angles. Good color. You know, for a little over $60 with tax, I'm very happy with the quality that I got. Let's throw something in there for a real picture. Should have grabbed an actual movie for this. think we need to replace that steel mount on the back with a little non-stick grip pad. Okay. I'm gonna max out the display area. See how this looks. I'm really impressed. I was kind of expecting the display quality that you get from most Amazon tablets nowadays, but this is sharp. It definitely is an IPS. Yeah. Speaker is definitely adequate. Not sure when this game gets to audio, or dialogue rather. This is Dragon Age, which I do not know how to play. See if this remote works. Yep. I'm not going to turn it off. I'm just waiting on a slow system. Okay. This is really not bad. I certainly didn't pick the best graphics here. Pretty good contrast. I managed to wiggle it too much. Ah, that was on the PlayStation's end though. The bottom port's pretty tight. Yeah, that's actually a good, nice white. It's very neutral. Alright. I'm just going to assume that cutscene goes on longer than I want to wait. Okay, and power off. Now this guy, as it's meant to go in my bag, I did preempt the purchase of this with a little case as well. I'm sure some searching on eBay and Amazon would show some cases with a little bit more flair, but I ended up grabbing something that was really just as generic and bland as possible. This is something I picked up on Amazon for $13. Let's see. This is a newer portable EVA monitor carry case. I assume that means the EVA foam is on the inside. This was advertised for 7-inch DSLR monitors, the type that you, as a photographer, would want to view your work in real time on. But I had gotten the specs from the eBay seller on the outer dimensions of the Eyoyo monitor. Thankfully, this little case did have its internal dimensions spelled out pretty well. Imperial and metric. So what I ended up doing is ordering it, assuming it would be a little bit too small. And I basically just went through and cut the EVA foam a little bit more. So the original factory cut for 7-inch tablets, I just sliced that out a little bit more. And let's see. Not perfectly. Alright. I think I went a little bit too far. That's okay. Now this guy does have the rear mount stick out a little bit, so that's to the point where that's bugging me a little bit too much. Let's make sure there's no gaping hole in the back of this when I take the mount off, the bracket off. More not quite countersunk screws. Yeah, those are staying out. Not going back in. And yeah, this guy now sits pretty flush. Neewer Pro Quality Amateur Prices. All right, for $12.99, I am happy with this guy as well. And what we're gonna do, just for extra safety's sake, I'm gonna keep some of the packaging from this guy. Give ourselves a top cover so that our accessories don't scratch it. And we have just enough space for a 12-inch HDMI. Can wrap back up the power supply for this guy. Like I said, I do plan to replace this with just a DC patch cable to go to a battery. But for now, the AC power supply is definitely going to be fine. remote in there too. Keep the silica packets in there for good measure. Either way. And that completes our new kit. Perfect size for the laptop bag. Weighs in probably a little over a pound for everything. Our $12.99 case, our $60 plus tax monitor. And I will never show up at a customer's job without a working monitor again. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.